My name is Kamakhala Maponya Kanzotsa Boza Yati Boza, and you are tuned into the most awesome, the most vibrant podcast in the land. It is called Aspiring. Ba, 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 ba. And today I have the first lady in studio with me today. Her name is Miss Buhle Twana. Miss Buhle.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to have you as the first lady of the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm glad you are here, and you're looking pretty in pink.
Thank you.
How was your day so far? And hey, it's a Monday, so it's
I've had a hectic day, Bandla, and I haven't even had lectures. That's the crazy part. But like coming here has definitely made my day better. Like there's still a chance for the day to be good. I haven't given up yet.
I'm glad. Don't give up, girl. You're going to make this podcast elevated.
Thank you. I hope so.
So, okay, I want to ask you a few quick fire questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some icebreakers just to get to know you and the fun side of your personality, right? Okay. So when it comes to makeup now I know very little about makeup.
Same.
I'm going to be very honest. Are you a primer girly or you just go bare face foundation?
I haven't been doing makeup for long. I'm still learning, so I am a primer girly because everyone says the makeup goes on better when you do primer, so I prime.
Okay. And then when it comes to, I'm going to make you choose. Are you going to choose mascara or an eyebrow pencil?
Eyebrow pencil.
Okay, yeah, no, because eyebrows are the main
Eyebrow
attraction.
pencil. Eyebrow pencil.
Okay. What is the last song you listened to?
Oh my gosh. It's a song called I Don't Know How Much, but I don't know the artist's name.
Okay.
It's like a 90s love song.
So it was like old school R&B, pop, what's the vibe?
R&B.
So you're listening to what our parents listen to on a Sunday.
Exactly.
Okay. What's your favorite series right now?
BoJack Horseman. I don't know if you know that show.
But the thing is, it's like, I don't understand it. Like, I just saw it everywhere, but I don't understand. What's it about?
No, fair. So it's this horse. And really, it's like, the one thing that I've taken from the show is that it's a depiction of, like, real life issues, but, like, put into talking animals. So, like, the things that BoJack go through is, like, things that we go through, but it's that they're animals. So like he goes through depression, fame, all these career ups and women in his life. And it's just I guess it's like it's not coming of age because he's already old, but like we just get to see him grow and then all his mistakes and stuff like that. It's quite entertaining. It's comical. I really like it, yeah.
I like comedy because sometimes after school you just need...
You don't want to be thinking too much.
Yeah, so it's something you watch. Would you say it's a background thing or I need to pay attention?
Oh, I would say background.
Okay.
But like now that I'm rewatching it, actually, I'm picking up on so many things that I missed.
So it's one of those series where it's like, oh, this is what happened.
Yes.
I think that's me with Glee right now.
Stop! Oh my gosh!
Rewatching Glee.
Stop! Glee is like one of my favorite shows, like of all time.
And the thing is, because Glee came out when we were so young, a lot of things went
definitely
over my head.
Like at the time, you wouldn't have thought that they're dealing with such complex concepts.
Yes, like now that I'm older, I'm like, whoa, like this is deep and I understand what's going on. And some of the jokes I also understand now because when I was young, I was like, what do they mean by this?
Yeah.
And then if you had a movie made about your life, what would you name it?
No, stop. Oh my gosh, no, oh my gosh.
Star. Hollywood fame. Billboards everywhere.
Stop. Oh my gosh, can I say I don't know?
Okay,
because I really don't. Like, I would probably obsess over that for like months.
Okay, so can I name one for you?
Okay.
The Advocate.
Okay.
I'm thinking like The Fixer, but I'm thinking The Fixer like you're that badass girl.
Okay, actually, I like that. I
don't know. The Advocate, I'll have to find... As we get to learn more about law through you, I'll get to find out more about what it is and then attach it to you.
Listen, if I ever have it made, I'll credit you. I'll credit you.
I'm the writer, the director, the everything. Buhle, so
Yes.
growing up, where did you grow up? What was it like in your childhood? And what would you say were your highlights?
Highlights, okay. So I was born in Port Elizabeth, but I've spent most of my life in Cape Town. I grew up in Buhle Twana. And I would say I had a fun childhood. Most of my time was spent playing outside, skip rope, all these games. And I would say highlights. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a highlight, but like, I've had a lot of incidents because of like how mischievous I could be. So like I have about like 4 scars on my body where I've either like swung too high on the swings and I've fallen. That's on my head.
Oh.
And then I've fallen down the stairs. That's this over here.
Okay, but
You can't tell because I was so
Yeah.
young. So I was someone who was very active. So I would say that's the highlight. Like I was always playing. I had fun being outside. And really growing up there, I would say that was tough. It is not the best neighborhood in terms of like safety, sanitation, and just how it is. Like I would say it's a toxic environment.
Okay.
Most people who find themselves living there never really make it out. And that's because of many reasons, either like family situation, school is hard, all of those things. So it was really tough growing up there. But like I had my mom who was just like constantly motivating me, not allowing me to be in the wrong circles and just pushing the school vision. So I would say like that's what's gotten me to the point where I am and not found myself in that toxic cycle as well.
Do you think it has like highly impacted who you are today? Maybe you're more driven, or what are some of the learnings that you've or some of the things you've had to learn because of the environment you come from?
Definitely. It has had the biggest impact, actually, I would say, because it's something that's always at the back of my mind. Like, I need to get out of the township. I need to leave. So I would say the biggest things that I've taken from it is like the importance of being goal-driven and ambitious, but not only being those things, but being active in achieving those goals. I think like a lot of people, even people who found themselves in those toxic cycles, have dreams, but sometimes maybe because of their situation or whatever, they get caught up in the dream and they don't actively pursue it. So I'm always reminded by I need to actively pursue my goals, and that when it gets tough, to be resilient, because it is always going to be tough. So when it gets tough, I'm reminded of where I once was, and I'm like, I need to keep pushing even though it's difficult.
Oof, those are some really good points there, like being resilient, because I'm sure not only have you been in situations where you've had to be resilient, but school as well is one place you really need to be resilient.
Yes. There's no other way to get through it.
Yeah, because it's tough. Like this side, it is really tough. So throughout high school, what was that key factor that made you want to become a lawyer or go into the law profession? Because, it's not something I would initially like say, I want to be a lawyer. But you've had encounters maybe with the profession that made you say, okay, this is for me.
So funny enough, I didn't actually have encounters with the profession, but growing up, I've always had a deep connection with social justice. And that was obviously from where I was coming from, but then also the high school that I was in. Going into that high school, I realized that we weren't all living the same lives. My life was way more difficult than everyone else's. And none of us had done anything to be in the positions that we were in. And so that made me realize, well, okay, like there really are many inequalities, and that there's sort of like, there's no way to get around being in the position that you're in, like you were there. But then obviously you see so much room for change and no one's being active in making that change. So I've always been that person, like, what can I do to make this place better? What can I do to make this place more inclusive, diversify it, all of those things.
Yeah.
And so because of that, like, I found myself in committees, starting new clubs, all of those things I was doing in high school. And then I actually realized, okay, social justice is my passion. I like to be where I can transform the place. I like to be where I can, be impactful. So from that, I was like, where do I think I can make the most impact? And then I was like, that's law. And outside of the social justice passion, my dad as well, he was a lawyer, and he was a freedom fighter. He was exiled to Harare in Zimbabwe. And he sort of, while he was in there, he became like an expert at bail applications, and he did all of that. He came back to South Africa, and since then he had been a lawyer. So I would say in that way, I'm so similar to him that I was like, this is the way for me. This is what I want.
It's actually crazy because when I think about exile, I'm thinking people who are in their 80s and in their 90s. But when you mention your dad, it reminds me of how recent
it was long ago. It wasn't long ago. It was
like,
literally just a little bit over 30 years.
Yeah, because was he exiled during your time? I think maybe afterwards.
No, definitely. I mean, I don't know what the time was, but maybe in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the 80s, that's actually quite recent because when I think exile, I'm thinking Mandela's age, people who are 80 plus, and it's actually quite crazy how recent
our democracy is so young.
It is very young. So you would say, so you have had the encounter with the profession through your dad.
I mean, yes. Well, I don't want to depress you, but he did pass away when I was 2.
Okay.
So, like, that's what I mean when I say I haven't had an encounter with the profession, but I've had to, like, that inspiration has come to me through, like, the stories that people have about him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay.
So you would say social justice in school, so it's teaching me you're a leader, right? You're saying you started out some new clubs and societies in high school. What prompted you? Because you could watch everyone else do it, but why did you decide I'm the one to do this?
Ooh, I mean, I don't know. I think I would say, like, I'm someone who cannot wait on other people, and I trust myself the most. If I think that there's something that can be executed, I want to be the person to be all hands on deck, so that I can execute my vision the way that I see it in my head. And it's just I'm someone who also, when I can see that change needs to be made, it's almost like a burning fire, like I need to do something about it. So I would say I'm always driven by that. And then also, like, having people around you to reaffirm what you're saying. So if people can see the need for this thing that you're also feeling like there's a need for, then that's one thing that helps drive me as well.
Okay, so you are an impact creator. You're like, I'm gonna trailblaze everything.
Something like that. Like that.
I think it's a beautiful trait to have because oftentimes we can look from the sidelines and say someone else would do it. And what I love that you said most was that you trust yourself. It's not something a lot of people will actively say they trust themselves, and you're very confident in your own abilities.
Thank you.
Which is a beautiful trait because I think as ladies especially, we like to play small sometimes, and we want other people. We think, oh, it's destined for them. I'll just watch. And what I love is that no, confidence is important, and not to be egotistical, but to actually say, like, I'm confident. I know who I am. I know what I can do, and I know what I have to offer to the world. Yeah. So where do you think that confidence came from?
My mom, number one. She supports me through everything, every vision that I have, everything that I want to explore. She'll be like, go for it. I know you can do it. I know you can get it. In fact, she'll be like, it's already yours. So definitely my mom. But also the other big thing is, like, seeing myself get through obstacles. The more you keep surpassing certain things, you're like, no, wait, I can't do this. And so like, because of where I am now and where I once was, it almost feels like a bit silly for me to not trust myself, because it's like, look at how much you've gotten through. There's no ways that you can't get whatever you want for yourself. So it's definitely that and my mom.
Okay, so going forward, like your childhood, I'm sure your mom she's supporting you, she's helping you through everything. But as an adult, what pushes you even more? Because you're not living at home anymore. Maybe you can call your mom, but what's pushing you?
Definitely my goals and my vision. I see myself as a lawyer. I see myself as an attorney, and later in life as an advocate. And you know, when you're so close to your vision and you've done so much for it, it's like, now that I'm here, I can't stop now.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that keep me going. I'm like, you've already gotten this far. You cannot stop here. You're obviously capable to get it. You can get there. So now you need to push to get there. So my goals keep me driven. But I also have a strong support system. People are always there to remind me that, hey, like, don't give up. I know you're in a period of difficulty, but you can get there because you've already done these other things. So definitely myself and the goals, and my support system.
Your support system. Have you created your own little family in UCT?
A little bit, yeah.
So you have like friends and people you can lean on.
Definitely.
In times of trouble. Okay, which I think is important.
Devs.
You're like, guys, especially if you live far from home. I think you're slightly closer to home.
Yes,
So
yeah, I'm a bit lucky, I won't lie.
you can sneak a trip back home for a little while. But when you don't have your immediate family next to you, I think it really is important to create your own support system.
I agree, 100%.
The university space.
Yes.
You know, find like-minded people who share the same goals and vision for their lives, and they just have the same drive to continue being their best selves. So let's talk law.
Okay.
Like, I am the advocate.
Yes, power to the people.
I'm social justice, that's me. She says, I'm going to be a lawyer. Did you know what that meant?
Oh, I mean, I thought I knew what it meant, but obviously what I thought then definitely isn't what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
When I first thought I want to be a lawyer, I think I must have thought I'm going to be standing in court and I will be defending people's rights, and I'll be making sure they get off scot-free if they're innocent and all of that. So the whole dreamy parts of law.
Okay, so what is it now? What are the differences?
The differences, oh my gosh, the differences is the reading. Yeah, no, definitely nothing like the series. It's more like, it's a lot of information that you're taking in because all of it is new. Nothing about law has any relation to whatever we did in high school. Yeah. So it's a lot of reading. It's a lot of reading of legal theories, so where the laws come from, and then what the laws currently are, and all the contradictions, especially when two different kinds of laws apply. You know, we get our constitution, we get the acts that we have, and then we are also moving towards an era. Well, we're not moving towards an area. We are in an area where we're trying to include African customary law. And so sometimes they all clash, and you find yourself having to argue in a paper, like which one is applicable. So it's definitely a lot more complex than what younger me thought it would be like.
I have to agree. Like, I do business law and I'm crying.
Oh, uni.
And then all the law students are like, girl, that's not even law. That's not a real thing. Like, whatever you're complaining about
it's nothing.
It's 2% of what we do every day. Like, you guys do a lot. I always complain about the readings. But I've realized that you guys have to deal with people's lives. Maybe not like a doctor where it's life or death, but it could be imprisonment or not.
Yes.
It could be, legal fines. These crazy things that could happen to them. In your position as a student, where do you see yourself as a lawyer? Do you think corporate is the way? Is commercial law? What side of law do you think entices you?
right now where I am, I'm going to say corporate. Because you know what they say about corporate.
That's where the bag is at.
Yes. And so, like one of my main goals is to free myself financially before anything else. So yeah, corporate definitely that, and also because I am intrigued by it. There's so many interesting concepts that I would say like they're not as tedious as what you would find in public law, but it's still interesting to grasp, still interesting to solve. Things like, like people's inheritance, how that's going to get divided, breaches in contract and all of that stuff. It's still stuff that I find interesting. So I'm definitely excited to head into that area. And maybe after that, I'll be looking into public law and see what that has for me.
Yeah, you want to go back to being the comrade.
But I'll always serve the people in the background, always.
Okay. So what does the journey to being a lawyer actually look like? Because is it 3 years undergrad? Then you have to do so many other things. What is the journey?
So it actually took me quite some time to grasp this as well. I feel like I only actually knew properly in second year. And so what it is that you can do 4 years of the LLB. So that's the straight law, or you can do a BA LLB, or BCom LLB, which is like 5 years, 3 years of your undergrad, and then which is like your humanities degree or your commerce one, and then the law, or you can do it as a postgraduate, right? And then once you've secured your law degree, you go into your practical vocational training. So that's articles. And that you'll serve with a law firm, whichever law firm that takes you, that you apply to. And then after that, or during that time, you're preparing for board exams.
You guys have board exams?
Yes,
oh, wow.
girl.
Just
yes,
like us.
yes. We even have to do accounting, which I was like, that's crazy. But yes, you get prepared for those board exams. And once you pass those, you get you go to the high court and get admitted as an attorney.
So what's the difference between an attorney, a lawyer, an advocate? Like, I never know what the difference is.
Fair. I think a lot of us don't know, but we won't say. But at this current point in time, my understanding is that once you finish your LLB, you are a lawyer, right? That's besides any attorney qualifications or anything like that. So you get your LLB, you are a lawyer. And then you write your board exams, you become an attorney. Now, an attorney is someone who's going to be dealing with the client. The client will say, this is my legal issue. The attorney is going to be like, this is how we're going to solve it. So that might happen in like settlement discussions, but an attorney is the kind of lawyer who won't be going to court. Not that they can't, but they'll be dealing more personally with the client.
Okay.
And then an advocate is more like a specialist who won't deal as much with the client, but they'll be outsourced to represent the client in court. Okay. So they won't deal with the client, they'll deal with the attorney. The attorney will be like, this is the issue, or this is what they need to go to court for, and then that's what the advocate will do. So attorney more with the client, advocate in court.
So is there an additional exam to be an attorney, or what's the process?
To be an advocate.
Sorry.
So advocates, they serve at the bar. So they serve at the bar. They have to take a bar exam to be an advocate.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you said the bar, I'm just thinking suits and how
yeah.
Mike Ross didn't write the bar exam. Okay. So you spoke about how you can be a lawyer right after your degree, and then you do a few board exams to become an attorney. And then an advocate is the person who represents the client in court.
Yes.
And they're more specialized.
Yes.
Okay. The different layers. It's actually beautiful to see the clarity, because for me they're all the same person.
Like you don't even know what the difference is,
like,
honestly. It took me quite some research as well, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so when you become a lawyer, you said you want to go corporate. So have you signed yet with a corporate firm? You don't have to mention the name, but if you have. So have you not?
I'm not signed. I'm not
Okay.
signed. But I'm in the process of acquiring articles.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say that much. Yeah, like I'm in the process. And it's looking up right now.
That's good.
I am speaking to a few law firms, and the competition is thick. But I'm hoping that I'm the right candidate. So yeah, haven't been signed, but I'm hopeful.
What does the process of signing to a law firm actually look like? And should you practice in corporate, are you disadvantaged in public law, for example?
So, I mean, I can't really share much on what being signed, what the process looks like. But as far as I am in the process, you have to submit all these applications where you're writing motivational essays. They want to know what made you take up law as a career, how you're going to be the best candidate for them, and basically just filling in all these motivational essays. And then after that, they may require you to take like these digital assessments, personality assessments. I don't know if you get like, yes, exactly that. And then an interview process where I think then they might expect you to like perform certain tasks that you'll be expected to do when you become a candidate attorney. So maybe answering, drafting up advice to a client, stuff like that. And really just being questioned on your knowledge and your ability to keep up with the current affairs in law. And then, I forgot your second question. I'm so sorry.
So once you sign, let's say, in a corporate law firm,
does it disadvantage me? I hope it doesn't.
Okay.
I don't know for sure. But I don't see any reason why it would. Only because I am taking, I do currently take and I will be taking private law and public law courses. So I don't see any reason why it should. Hopefully it doesn't.
So it's not a disadvantage to sign at, let's say, a public law firm over private or private over public, because, there's some debates about certain law firms are going to help your career more than others.
Listen, I've seen all that discussion, and I really cannot say whether I am speaking fact or not, but I can say what I've seen based on what other people have said. And I don't know, the general consensus or what I think it is from what I've seen is that you're most likely to get paid more and make more money and for your career to take greater heights when you go into corporate rather than when you go into public. But at the same time, I'm just not sure if that's true. I really cannot confirm it.
You cannot confirm. Okay, which is fair because they're not very transparent.
Yes, also who's saying it?
Yeah.
Have you been to both the public and the private? What we don't know what the facts are. Yeah.
Okay. You're already speaking law. What are the facts? What are the facts of the case? Because that's all I hear when I'm in business law. I'm like, let's state the facts.
Yes, the facts, the issue,
yes,
the rule, the reasoning, your application, the conclusion.
That's why that course will forever be the pain of my existence.
Have you done it already? Have you finished?
So in commerce, I thought I only had to take one law course. Here I am doing 3 law courses.
Stop. Oh my gosh.
I have never been so shocked. I was like, I'm here to do accounting.
Oh my God, you've been blindsided.
I was blindsided for real. Shame, it's not a lot of work in comparison to what you guys do. But I think it came as a shock to see how integrated law and accounting really is. And it's very beautiful that I heard there's something called where, if you do BCom law, for example, you're kind of like an accountant and a lawyer at the same time.
Yeah.
And I find that to be crazy because there's so many rules in accounting, and law is also quite dense as well. That how do you consolidate the two? It's just too much.
Yes.
So yeah, I admire you guys when it comes to the readings.
Thank you. It's tough work, man.
You guys are killing it. So, in terms of university, you came in thinking that, I'm going to be an advocate. What has been the reality in terms of workload, and what are some of the surprises you've experienced in the university space specifically?
So, I mean, I would say like all of university has been a huge shock. I think the image that people paint about university when we're in high school is just, it's too dreamy.
It's the
too,
grownish.
yeah, oh, yeah. You know, you're gonna come here, you'll study on this on your part time, but most of the time will be spent partying, and you'll be able to do all of these things while pursuing your dreams, and that really isn't the reality. Getting to law school, I found that like there was so many courses, and in every single course, I'm being expected to apply myself. No one is expecting me to just recite what they've told me. That doesn't matter. Yeah. They want to see, can I apply it to a legal issue? So that just involves like critical thinking, analytical thinking, and it's exhausting to have to do it in every single course. And so, yeah, that and the workload definitely was not expected. In first year, I was doing 3 law courses and 2 humanities courses. And the humanities courses exist to fill up credits, but they were taking up so much of my time, constantly writing essays in the humanities one and in the law one, whilst learning a new language as well. So I don't think anything could have prepared me for that. That was a huge shock, that I would have to split my attention that much, that and also having like obligations outside of school. And then, what was your second question? I'm so sorry.
No, I even forgot my second question. What were the shocks and your experiences? I think.
Oh, yeah. So I was shocked about how much I would have to split my attention. But there's been amazing surprises as well. Like, I definitely cannot say that hasn't happened. I've been pleasantly surprised by the degree. I like how we engage with the law. I think the one thing that I like about law is that in as much as it's law, like we're looking at how people's behavior is being regulated in all aspects of life, and how the law can transform people's lives, or they can even make it really tough and really bad. And I like having to deal with that. I like the ability to use the law to transform someone's life. So one thing that I found was that as much as I was struggling, I really liked dealing with the law. I liked the readings that I'm reading. I like it when I'm drafting up an answer to say that I think that this person would succeed in this claim or that they wouldn't. So yeah, I like having to apply the law, even though it's so challenging. It's nice when you finally got your answer and you're looking at it and you're like, wow,
I did that.
Wow, like take me to court right now.
Okay, so have you done VAC work yet?
Yes. So I recently did VAC work at a corporate law firm. And I must say, like, I was pleasantly surprised once again. I had so much fun. Most of the time was spent learning about the different, like, departments of law that they had. So they had, like, mergers and acquisitions, competition, banking and finance, employment law, shipping and aviation, which was very shocking.
Crazy.
And so most of the time we had like the lawyers in those departments coming to talk to us. And then we got placed into like our different sections. I chose employment law. And so then...
Power to the people.
Of course, all the time. So within that, we had like these assignments that we had to do. So that was like the other half of the week doing those assignments where I'm being asked to look at an employment contract and say whether I think that this person is an employee or they're an independent contractor and whether they can get like certain benefits that an employee should. So that was really nice because haven't done that in law school. So it was definitely a new learning experience. And then the rest of the time was spent like socializing. So they had like a cocktail party. We had an outing, which was nice. I think they tried to make the whole week for us challenging and pretty fun, so that you can walk out and you'll be like, okay, I've accomplished something.
You've accomplished something. How early do you think someone should go for VAC work?
Listen, as soon as you can. As soon as you can. Like, I really wish I did it as soon as I could. Like, in first year even, I would say, like, if by the end of first year you've gotten yourself 1 week of VAC work, you've done so well. I'm in my third year now, and I only just got my first VAC work in the last holiday. And I just need to say that, like, you won't always be that lucky. I consider myself very lucky to still have been able to be in the running and still get chosen at this point. But, like, it's way better to do it as early as you can. But at the same time, don't put an unnecessary amount of pressure on yourself. Because the one thing I would say about law is that it is a massive shock. And so it can be so shocking that by the end of your first year, you feel completely thrown off and your marks don't look how they would have looked in high school. And so nowhere are you ready to be in a law firm because you probably don't feel confident about those marks. And so I would say do it as soon as you can. But if you feel like you aren't ready, you still have second year. But by the time that you get to the end of third year, you should have done VAC work.
Okay.
So don't let yourself go past third year without having done it.
Do you think, does it help in acquiring articles, or is it a matter of for the experience of it all?
So I would say both. I would like to think it helps, mostly because some firms will do the VAC work application and the article applications separately. Maybe in that case, it makes no difference. But then certain law firms will group those applications. So you are applying for VAC work and then you're applying for articles at the time that you finish your degree. And so that gives you access to that interview, but you wouldn't have gotten that interview if you didn't apply for the VAC work. Get what I'm saying? So in that aspect, I would say maybe it gives you access. But even when they are separate, to have that law firm on your CV saying that you've completed that VAC work there, it's obviously telling about you. So yes, I would say it helps. And to definitely do it. To
do it as quickly as possible.
And for the experience, obviously, because the one thing that I learned at the law firm that I was at was that what I'm learning in law school is so, like, there's a huge space between what they're doing there and what I'm learning, and the different departments of law, or even stuff that I haven't engaged with at law school. So I definitely needed to know that so that I can think more clearly about if I'm to become a candidate attorney, which department of law would I want to be? And it matters when you get firms that really specialize in one kind of law, because, you know, if you're going in there, then that's the kind of law that you'll be doing. So definitely for the experience and to have that law firm on your CV.
I like what you said. It gives you knowledge of other areas of law that you're not exposed to.
That I've never even considered. I mean, shipping and aviation. What? I was so surprised.
And I'm sure it's like, law is just complicated in general, but it's a new area of law that you're engaging with.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, okay, maybe I like this.
Maybe I could be there. Yes.
Okay, you could become a specialist. It opens up your mind, opens up the opportunities you get, and obviously to socialize. Because one thing about these companies, they will do a lot to help you. And we don't often take advantage of how much they actually pour into us.
Yes.
And as much as I know they're trying to get articles from us, like, first and foremost, they want us to do articles at their companies, but they're also enriching you with these VAC works.
Yes,
so
yes.
try as quickly as possible. And I really agree. Like, if you can, do it as quickly as possible, regardless of industry. Like law,
that's that's a very good point. Literally, whatever degree you're doing, just try to secure some VAC work because the VAC work is for them, but it's as much as it is for them, it's for yourself as well.
Yeah. Okay, so you are an entrepreneur as well.
I'm trying to become one.
You're part of the Allan Gray Owens Foundation, which, guys, it's no small feat.
Not everyone can do that job. Yeah.
It's another course on its own. It's a joke that we like to have as fellows. Like, guys, we have our 10 core courses as, whatever degree you're doing.
And then Allan Gray. It really is a course. It is, though.
There's a submission every 2 weeks. We have to do stuff. Like, it's crazy business. What prompted you to sign up? Because there were 10 essays you had to write.
Let's speak about those 10 essays.
There's a lot you had to do.
So, matric came around, right? And I had to start thinking about university. And UCT was always the number one for me. And I remember thinking, NSFAS is so wishy-washy. You really cannot rely on them because, every year we see fees must fall, fees must fall, fees must fall. So at that time I was thinking, how else can I secure myself? And then, so my scholarship coordinator on my high school scholarship, she had sent these links on our WhatsApp group. And I remember being at home one night and I was like, let me just have a look at this. So I go onto the site and I see that Allan Gray Orbis has a university bursaries and it's 10 days away from closing date. 10 days, Gamu, that I had. I'm telling you.
That's so short. People don't understand how short it is.
10 days that I had. I look at that application. Is there not 10 essays, questions? I was like, what? And the thing is, the minimum aggregate to get in is 70%, ne? And they were looking at your grade 11 year-end marks. And grade 11 was peak COVID time for us. So my average was 71. And I was like, I remember going to my mom and being like, listen, Allan Gray wants 70%. I have 71. Am I not being ridiculous? Because I'm competing with all of South Africa. These kids probably have 80%, 90s. What am I doing? She was like, listen, you just got in. You might as well go for it. You're in already. So because of that, I did that. I took the application. And I started getting to it. I was answering questions about, trying to think now, places where we've made change, instances, all these crazy instances that they want to know about. So I started writing. And I, every now and then I'd get lazy because obviously,
it's mentally draining.
Yes, having to write a motivational essay is draining. It is a lot. But then we come to the 10th day, literally on the 10th day, and I'm still not done. My house mother had to ask my teacher to excuse me from one of my subjects, and I finished quickly, and then she had it delivered for me. So I was pushed by the fact that I did not want to depend on NSFAS because I know that if I find myself in debt, my mom can't pay that off. And then also I was pushed by the fact that I had once applied for the Allan Gray scholarship in grade 6 and they didn't take me. So I was like, maybe let's just give it a shot. See if, maybe I'm a better candidate now. So I wanted to see that as well.
Okay. Guys, when we say 10 essays,
we really mean it. It's not an exaggeration.
Girl, for me, I think it took me a whole weekend. My mom... I was supposed to go somewhere. I was supposed to go visit my granny or something.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't visit. I have to stay home. This was during COVID. It was just after COVID, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I have to stay home, please. It was my first time home alone, for more than a day. I was like, I'm staying home. I can't.
You're getting on your Zoom.
I'm on my Zoom. And the thing is, we still have access to what we wrote.
Really?
You do.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes I cringe at my answers and I'm like, girl, what do you say? How did they even take?
No, listen though, they made sense at the time.
Yes.
And also what I like to tell myself is that, if we had to write 10 essays, then you weren't chosen by mistake. You were exactly who they wanted.
And also, how many people are going to write those 10 essays? After one, you're like, oh, huh?
That's how you know, you weren't chosen by mistake. They really wanted you because you got through that process.
What has the foundation really taught you, and how has that impacted your life?
Oh my gosh. I always say that like Allan Gray is like one of the biggest blessings in my life.
Same.
I love being part of the foundation. I remember at the start being, let's say, for example, like going to Jamboree. Yes, going to Jamboree. I remember at the start being like, I don't know what to expect from this. It seems so businessy. Like, I'm not really sure if I am like that, even though obviously if they've chosen me, they see that potential, but like I wasn't really seeing it in myself. And then I remember just getting to Jamboree and being nervous about the fact that I didn't know anyone. And then getting there and then seeing people pitch on stage, pitch these bright, impactful, so out of the box ideas that I'm like, how did you think of this? And the fact that there's like so many people pitching, I remember being sat there and thinking, oh my gosh, these people are candidate fellows and they are doing this. So if Allan Gray has chosen me, that means that I'm capable as well. So that has been like my biggest learning experience, that I can be like that because there are other candidate fellows who are like that, and that I need to take advantage of Allan Gray's resources.
Yes.
The one thing about Allan Gray is that they provide resources.
They will help you, really.
Like you really, if you find yourself in a tough place and you really have lost all hope, but you haven't made use of any of the resources, like, you have yourself to blame, because they will push you. They don't hide these resources from you. They want you to use them. So I've learned to take advantage of that. And I've really learned that, especially from the last Jamboree, my biggest learning curve from the last Jamboree was that it's all good to have an idea, but you need to start. You need to start.
Yes.
Don't get caught up in the dream. Don't get caught up in when you're thinking, oh, 5 years time when I have money, or my idea is not that good. Just start. Start so you can see what needs to be made better. Start so you can see that maybe this isn't the way, but there's a better way. But you won't know unless you start.
Yes. Oh, Miles Kubeka.
Yes, him, fully him.
Too good.
Fully him. He had me engaged.
Yeah, no, like, guys, when I say that Allan Gray, like, if you're in grade 11 matric and even first year, I will say, please apply. I know 10 essays are a lot, but please apply. Like, they really do care for you, number one, and they will push you to be a greater version of yourself.
Definitely.
Right? Like, we have assignments, and we complain about how many assignments we have, but after each assignment, I'm like, I learned that at Allan Gray, and there's certain things I'm doing in school now. And because it's like entrepreneurship and business, I'm like, oh, you guys are struggling with that?
I know this. I know
We've
this.
been doing this. And what I love is that it also helps you with confidence.
Yes.
They will build your confidence, because you're learning how to start. You're learning how to, be bold and to just put yourself out there.
Yes. I was going to say that. I would say, like, in as much as I've always been a confident person, a huge part of me has always also been shy. Like, especially coming into the law degree, like, I'm looking at these, like, 50 other people, and I'm like, they probably had great marks as well, and they probably know the law so much better than me, and all of these things. Comparing that first year Buhle to third year, who can now like do interviews with law firms and be in a space with other law students and be confident in what I have to say and my contribution and my ability to chat with strangers without feeling like the whole world's going to come down on me. And I would definitely attribute that to Allan Gray. They've built my confidence through putting me through things that I thought I would never be able to do, all these assignments. I'm like, what? I'm being thrown in the deep end. And then I get out and I'm like, oh, I just did that. Yeah.
I'm the girl.
Yes,
like, I did that.
yes.
Confidence, boldness, and one thing about them, guys, when I say apply, how...
We can't emphasize enough.
Please apply.
We cannot emphasize enough.
And I think I still get angry at people I know where I'm like, guys, I told you to apply. I told you to apply, and you're just like, oh, it's too much work. That's your fault.
Really?
It really is your fault. Speaking about law and integrating it with entrepreneurship, do you think that there is a way that you can do it? Because it's not just entrepreneurship in the sense of profit, but there's also social entrepreneurship that they like to champion on. Have you kind of made ideas or found a way to marry the two?
It's a struggle. I'm not going to lie. It is a struggle. I often find myself wanting to because the law side and the entrepreneurship side exist both within me. But I have sort of worked on certain ideas where like I'm like, this is incorporating more so, I'd say, less the law side of it, but the social justice side, and then the entrepreneurship together. But what I've struggled with that is how to make profit off of that. So that's the difficulty.
To make it like sustainable. And grow in the future.
Yes. It's difficult, but I haven't given up. I'm thinking there has to be a way. So if there is one, I will find it.
I love that. How do you think as law students you can have a competitive advantage? Like what would make you stand out? I don't say above everyone else, but above your classmates when applying for these law firms.
So I'm actually so glad you asked me this. Being involvement is the one thing. And when I say involvement, I mean involvement outside of law school. So that's your community service. That's your clubs. So and being in things like Allan Gray and stuff like that. So you need to be able to show the law firms that you've really engaged in all parts of your life outside of law school. Law school can't be your be-all and end-all because that's the minimum to get in, that you're in law school. And so, like, I've always been someone since grade 8 who's been in community service, and I have the hours to show for it. Since grade 8 up until now, I'm constantly giving back to my community. So I think that is one thing that they appreciate to see. And then partaking in these social clubs, again, showing your ability to network and all of those things. And then obviously the good marks. There's no better way. There's no better way to put yourself at an advantage. But I think one of the things that can give you a proper advantage is to show your uniqueness, and first of all, to show that you're unique, you really have to believe that you are. And the way that my life has come about to this point, when I write those essays, I make it a point to make sure that they are aware that I'm not like anyone else. My journey to becoming where I am, to come where I am, hasn't been like everyone else's. And the skills and the knowledge that I have is not the kind of skills that you'll find in any other person. So you really have to find that unique part of yours that you feel like you don't share with anyone else, and not to be afraid to show it, but really to rely on it heavily. That's what I think, at least.
Being authentic.
Yes, definitely.
Staying true to yourself.
Yes, like the one thing that I would say don't do is to be generic and be like everyone else, and to come up with the answer that you think they want you to come up with, and to be like the other people that you see. Really, I know it sounds corny, but be yourself.
Be yourself.
Be yourself. Answer most honestly, and like give yourself in like the way that you would in the person that you are, and not to follow other people. Yeah.
You know what I've loved about our conversation is that you show so much passion towards what you're doing. Like, some people, sometimes you do degrees just for the sake of it, but when you speak about the law, I can see that you're ignited, your eyes sparkle a little bit. So I was just like, okay, she's doing something that is purpose-driven. And I want you to look into the camera and speak to young Buhle and be like, girl, give her some advice. Tell her what you think she needed to hear at maybe 10 years old.
So to my younger self, I would tell you to trust in yourself. Trust in yourself and trust in your capabilities. Trust that life can get better and that it will. Trust that there's so much outside of your vision right now. What you see right now is not all that you can be and all that you will be. I would have told her to trust in God as well.
Amen, sister.
That He will always come through for you, even when you think that He won't. And I would have told my younger self to just relax a bit more. Don't be so nervous. I was such a nervous 10-year-old, just trying to secure the best opportunities for myself in a school sense and trying to be the smartest and all of those things. I would have told myself to relax and trust in the process, that things will definitely get better.
Oh, beautiful, guys. This conversation has been amazing. Thank you for being my first lady on the show.
Thank you.
It has been this conversation has literally livened me up because we spoke not only about your career as a future advocate, future lawyer, future attorney. I'm giving you the whole...
Add future entrepreneur
there. Future entrepreneur, future everything. But what I love is that we spoke highly about confidence and how it can really push you into being the best version of yourself, and how confidence really plays a big role into you stepping into greater opportunities, stepping out and reaching out for those opportunities as well. And don't sell yourself short. One thing, don't sell yourself short. Always aim to be the best. It might not always happen, but just continue to move forward and believe that in the end it will work out.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun.
I'm glad you came. You at home, if you have anything to say, please comment down below. How gorgeous is she, right? I mean, she's making the camera pop and the lighting is just, she's doing the most right here. And yeah, make sure to share it with everyone. If you know someone who wants to get into the law profession, share it with them. They'll get more insight. They'll finally know what the difference is between a lawyer and an advocate. Like, at my big age, I'm still finding out. But thank you so much to Buhle, and thank you so much to you at home. I'm going to try your name a bit. Buhle.
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 Bye. Let's say bye together.